Welcome to the Global Skill Development Council, your gateway to unlocking endless opportunities for professional growth and success. GSDC is an independent, vendor-neutral, international credentialing and certification organization for professionals. For over 5 years, we have certified the skills of over 100,000 professionals across EMEA, LATAM, APAC, and North America regions. We offer certification in learning and development, human resources, quality assurance, ISO and Six Sigma, emerging technologies, DevOps, SRE, Agile and Scrum, project management. GSDC is proudly accredited with ANSI and ABICB. We have global presence with offices in Switzerland, the United States, and Singapore, and a strong network of over 50 global accredited training organizations.
But how do these certifications contribute to your career growth? GSDC certifications are globally recognized and trusted by many multinational organizations. Our certifications validate your skills and demonstrate your commitment to professional development. GSDC is collaborating with 500 plus SMEs, advisors, and global experts to curate and share best practices with individuals. We validate those skills via experts' curated certification exams. Additionally to that, we also regularly conduct webinars, knowledge sharing sessions, and various complementary learning initiatives to keep learners updated on the best practices and fortify their knowledge. By validating skills, GSDC is addressing the challenges faced by professionals in today's competitive landscape. We bridge the gap between theoretical knowledge and practical expertise, ensuring that individuals are equipped to succeed in their chosen fields. Visit our website to know more about GSDC.
Welcome to the Global Skill Development Council, your gateway to unlocking endless opportunities for professional growth and success. GSDC is an independent, vendor-neutral, international credentialing and certification organization for professionals. For over 5 years, we have certified the skills of over 100,000 professionals across EMEA, LATAM, APAC, and North America regions. We offer certification in learning and development, human resources, quality assurance, ISO and Six Sigma, emerging technologies, DevOps, SRE, Agile and Scrum, project management. GSDC is proudly accredited with ANSI and ABICB. We have global presence with offices in
Hello and good evening, everyone. My name is Leki. We still have a couple of more minutes. We are waiting for the keynote speaker to join in. So yeah, we'll start the session shortly. Thank you so much.
Switzerland, the United States, and Singapore, and a strong network of over 50 global accredited training organizations.
But how do these certifications contribute to your career growth? GSDC certifications are globally recognized and trusted by many multinational organizations. Our certifications validate your skills and demonstrate your commitment to professional development. GSDC is collaborating with 500 plus SMEs, advisors, and global experts to curate and share best practices with individuals. We validate those skills via experts' curated certification exams. Additionally to that, we also regularly conduct webinars, knowledge sharing sessions, and various complementary learning initiatives to keep learners updated on the best practices and fortify their knowledge. By validating skills, GSDC is addressing the challenges faced by professionals in today's competitive landscape. We bridge the gap between theoretical knowledge and practical expertise, ensuring that individuals are equipped to succeed in their chosen fields. Visit our website to know more about GSDC.
Welcome.
Hello, and a very good evening to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining the session today. I welcome each and every one of you to our GSDC Global FinOps Bootcamp 2023. My name is Leki Dema. I am the learning advisor with GSDC, and I will be the host for the evening today. Just give me a second. I have my colleague Setulu, who is also available with me throughout the chat. If any one of you have any questions regarding the event, feel free to use the chat box below. So now, without delaying it any further, I would like to inform each and every one of you that this is a two-day event. So for today's session, our keynote speaker will brief you all through regarding maximizing the cloud efficiency. And for tomorrow's event, we have our keynote speaker, Krishna Prasad Hari, who will be talking on the topic achieving business objective with FinOps-driven cloud management. So if any one of you has not already registered for the event, I request every one of you to use the same link that you guys have used to join the event today. And we will also be going live on all of our social media platforms, such as Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, requesting each and every one of you to share it with all of your networks. The links will be provided on the chat box below. Before I pass on the virtual platform to our keynote speaker, I would like to take this opportunity to quickly give a brief introduction about the hosting organization, GSDC, also known as Global Skill Development Council. We are a vendor neutral, independent vendor neutral international certification organization. So far, we have certified more than 90,000 plus professionals across the globe. We have also partnered with more than 100 plus global training organizations throughout the world. We have partners from the region, Asia, South Asia, Africa, Europe, and our mission is to set our foot even deeper into the market. These are some of our training organization who are associated with GSDC currently. If you want more information regarding it, the website link are already shared on or will be shared on the chat box below. So feel free to go through the website. I would also like to take this opportunity to give a quick shout out to our proud patron. Thank you so much, each and every one of you who is presented on the screen, for putting in such a great effort and helping us make this event a big success. I would also like to take a moment to give a big shout out to our official media partner, World Press Hub. Thank you so much again for all the effort, for all the effort and support and helping us make this event a huge success. These are few of some of our these are few of all of our certification program which are listed in our platform currently. We do make sure to keep on upgrading and adding new programs and platforms as per the market needs. So if any one of you is interested to learn more about any of the programs, feel free to get in touch with us. You can follow us through LinkedIn or visit our website for more details regarding each and every programs. We have also launched the new FinOps certification, and a very good news, a big announcement that whoever has joined the session today will be getting an extra 20% off on the FinOps certification. So yeah, if any one of you is again interested to opt for the certification, feel free to get in touch with us. The GSDC certification also comes with a lifelong membership, which has a lot of benefits, including a free access to all of our global events, such as our workshop, boot camps, and there will also be an access for self-paced learning material. One of a very good unique feature about the lifelong membership will be the complimentary upgrade to our certification. And again, I would request each and every one of you to stay with us till the end of the session, because after the presentation and after the Q&A session is over, we will be hosting a very quick gamification round wherein we will be having a fun game round wherein a few lucky winners will be entitled to get the GSDC certificate worth 4,000. So yeah. Now, without delaying it any further, I would like to take this opportunity to quickly introduce you to our keynote speaker for the day. He has a deep technical background in Microsoft Cloud business application, including Dynamics 365 and Power Platform. Not just that, he has also been awarded with Microsoft MVP in business application on the year 2029. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you our keynote speaker for the day, Alex Mayer. Alex, over to you whenever you're ready. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you, Lucky. Go ahead. Start the screen. So thank you first to GSDC for putting on this event, and thank you everyone for joining here today. Like Lecky mentioned, what we're going to be covering is maximizing cloud efficiency while meeting business goals. And we're going to take that approach looking at it from a finance and operations perspective from the Microsoft Dynamics 365 family. But we're also going to be covering other Microsoft technologies as well, including Azure and EDO, things like that, and show you how you can create that total landscape of solutions to help with your efficiency with your day-to-day business processes. So go ahead and jump into this. I will say before we start that there is a Q&A section here at the end, but you can feel free to use the Q&A or question and answer feature within Zoom. So if you have questions throughout the session, feel free to post them in there, and we'll have time at the end to go through those as well. A quick introduction about myself. Like was mentioned, my name is Alex Meyer. I am currently work for a company called Protiviti, which does global business consulting. My area of expertise is in the business application solutions area, focusing on the Microsoft Dynamics Power Platform, Azure Portal, and ADO solutions, and helping our clients be able to utilize those to the best of their ability. My contact information is there in the middle. I have a blog that I write on quite frequently about Dynamics 365 F&O topics, mostly around security, audit, and compliance. I have a book that I wrote or co-wrote around security, audit, and compliance as well. That's available on Amazon. And then my MVP, my Microsoft MVP profile link is there as well. So quick background, like was mentioned, I was awarded the MVP award in November of 2019 for my work around security, audit, and compliance in finance and operations, and presenting at conferences across North America and in Europe. Worked with Dynamics AX since 2013 and F&O since about 2016. And then again, I present virtually like this for a number of those types of sessions, as well as in person around development, system administration, some of those more technical topics, and being that subject matter expert in that area. All right, so looking ahead at the agenda for today, what we're really going to be looking at covering is first taking an agnostic look to see what are the benefits of having a SaaS-based cloud ERP. And when we say SaaS, that's software as a service. So looking at what those benefits are compared to on-premise. We're going to be looking at specifically then Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations being hosted in Microsoft Azure and the benefits that provides and how you can start utilizing some of those features and functionality that Microsoft has across their landscape to help with your business. We're going to be looking at the benefits of development and testing with cloud ERPs. So when you're trying to extend the solution, right, what does that look like? And from a testing perspective, what are some tools and functionality that exist to help automate that process and shorten that time? We're going to be looking at data analytics opportunities and solutions. Now that you have all this great data in your ERP, how can you actually turn around and utilize that data and be able to gain actionable insights? We're going to be looking at the cloud integrations that exist, right? Because now that our ERP is in the cloud, how can we connect to other solutions, be able to pull in information from those others areas? And then, of course, the new piece to all of this is the artificial intelligence, your AI, machine learning, things like that. How can we introduce that into our business to be able to streamline efficiency, take out mundane tasks and give time back to individuals to do more important things in their day-to-day work life. So, and then finally, we'll have a Q&A session here at the end as well. So, go ahead and feel free to drop your questions in that Q&A area. All right, so if we jump into this, we'll first start with what are the benefits of the cloud SaaS-based ERP itself, right? So we're going to focus again on that Microsoft Dynamics area and be able to start looking at that. So first and foremost, what is all included in the Dynamics 365 family? So Microsoft has a really unique way of naming things. They like to make it as confusing as possible. So of course, Dynamics 365 isn't just one solution, right? There are a number of different solutions that actually fall under the umbrella of the Microsoft Dynamics family. So you're going to have things like your ERP side that's going to have finance, supply chain management, project operations, commerce, right? You're going to have that side. You're also going to have your CRM side, where you have sales and marketing, customer service, customer voice, field service, right? You're going to have that separate area as well. So there's multiple different pieces to this, right? But this isn't the only thing that Microsoft, offers, right? This is just your ERP and CRM solutions. What else do they have in this particular area? And really, when we start looking at it then, right, we start adding in the Power Platform as well, right? So this is where you have your things like Power Apps for your low code, no code development, right? Your Power Automate, right, for process automation, being able to automate certain tasks based on events. Your Power Virtual Agents, which are your chat bots, right, to be able to interact with your customers automatically and efficiently. And then Power Pages is a newer one where they have that external facing website, right? So these two things, your Dynamics 365 Power Platform, very easily join together because they're built on top of both offered from Microsoft, and these are becoming more and more streamlined as we move through the life cycle, right, of Dynamics 365 and Power Platform. These are becoming closer and closer together. But again, this isn't the only solutions, right, that you're going to be dealing with from Microsoft as a business. You also have the Microsoft 365 family as well, right? So you have, things like Microsoft Word and Excel that you're creating those documents in, PowerPoint, for example. Then you have Outlook and Exchange, right, for your email, Teams for your chatting, and doing virtual meetings like this. And then you have OneDrive for your data and SharePoint for collaborating with that, right? So this is where you can start looking across from a Microsoft standpoint in particular. right? The vast landscape of different solutions that they provide and the interconnectivity that they provide really sets the Microsoft offerings apart in that particular area. So when we start looking at the overall benefits of the cloud ERP, and again, this is a little bit Dynamics agnostic, but it absolutely applies to Microsoft Dynamics in general, is a couple different things here to point out. One is you're going to have your lower upfront cost, right? When you have your ERP in the cloud, there are certain costs that you are saving if you were trying to host this on premise, right? So things like purchasing hardware or software that your ERP is running on, right, are going away because you're instead paying that monthly subscription fee to your ERP service in that case, right? So you can lower that barrier to entry in that case. You're going to have things like faster deployments and upgrades, right? So you're going to be able to push new code and new solutions out much quicker because of the way the software is designed as compared to on-premise ERP. You know, if you were think back, right, your on-premise ERP, you would maybe do an upgrade maybe once a year, maybe once every couple of years, right? Microsoft is pushing 7 updates a year out, right, for F&O. And so they can very quickly fix bugs and they can very quickly add new features and functionality for that. The other part to this is, as we just talked about, is the upgrade side, right? So not only can you deploy code faster, but the service provider, in this case, Microsoft, can push their code faster as well. And so that gives a better overall experience in that regard. There's also easier scalability, right? So if you very quickly find yourself that your business is going from, you know, a 50 or 100 person team and needs to scale up to 1,000, 10,000, right? You know, it's much easier to add that capacity in the cloud than it is on premise, right? To stand up new servers, to start scaling things out. Microsoft can handle all of that behind the scenes for you, scale up and scale down, right, as needed to help with that, handle that capacity. Automatic updates as well, right? Again, if you think back to your on-premise ERPs, right, your updates were all optional per se, right? Where, you know, Microsoft or whoever would let you know, hey, there's a new update, and then it was up to you to figure out how you wanted to actually implement that. Now those updates are coming automatically, and they're being integrated into your environment on a periodic basis. You have that improved collaboration and productivity. Really, when we're looking at this, it's, you know, because you have a cloud-based solution, you can have, you know, multiple people connecting to it in a much easier fashion. You don't have to, you know, use VPNs to get into your network and try to launch these huge applications, right? You can just go to a website, log in with your credentials, and be able to, you know, interact with your ERP as long as you have internet connectivity in that case, right? So you can really start to lower, again, that barrier to getting your day-to-day job done. And then you're looking at expanded integration options as well, right? A lot of on-premise ERPs, if you were looking at that, right, you had very limited options as far as integrating that out to other solutions. Now with cloud, right, you're really looking at multiple different options, even whether you want to use OData or API or another solution to be able to connect into that environment. And then increased data security, right? And the reason I bring this up is because, you know, Microsoft has an entire team of thousands of people working on the security of their environment itself in Azure. And so, you know, a lot of the work that would have to be done to harden your solution if you were an on-prem ERP is offloaded from you having to do that to the provider in that case, right? And we'll get into kind of that shared responsibility model here in a little bit. But this is just, you know, a high-level listing of the different benefits that cloud ERPs can have for you. And so what does this really mean? All right, what do all of these benefits really mean? And so there's kind of a decision tree here where you're showing all the different options, right? And so the first thing that this does is promotes higher user adoption, right? There's going to be more people that want to use the solution if it offers all of those benefits that we just talked about, right? Which increases employee satisfaction, right? So once that happens, right, then the next step is, because more people are using the tool, they can get more done. They're going to increase efficiency and productivity, right? So that's going to lead to increased management satisfaction, right? Where you have, your managers are seeing that increased production and productivity. They're able to get more done. They're able to take on more work to meet the demands in that case. So that's going to improve your business profits, which obviously increases leadership satisfaction as well, right? So you can kind of see how one leads to the next here in that regard. All right, so when we start looking at Dynamics 365 and providing these benefits, right, what features and functionality does Microsoft have that allow for providing these additional benefits? And so the first thing we're going to look at is the Dynamics 365 being hosted in Microsoft Azure. So we kind of talked about from a high level, right, what this looks like. But what are the specific features, right, for Dynamics 365 hosted in Microsoft Azure that benefit and meet those requirements that we talked about earlier? And so the first thing here is why having Dynamics 365 hosted on Azure just makes sense, right? So the Microsoft Azure footprint, right, is massive. They have over 160 active data centers in 60 different regions globally, and that's getting added to every year. This is including things like North and South America, Europe, Asia, and Africa. They offer over 200 different products or resource types that you can actually deploy within Azure. And again, that's increasing all the time as well. And I did want to point out that Microsoft, and they publicly announced this, they spend over $1 billion a year in security investments to protect customer data, right? And so that's a lot of resources being dedicated to securing and making sure that your data is kept safe, that you don't have to really, quote unquote, worry about anymore because Microsoft is handling that. The next part is, keeping data safe is one thing, but how do you protect data from, disaster recovery or some sort of, data loss situation? And that's where, again, the benefits of Azure can kick in. So I just wanted to show the 3 different types of different data protection and redundancy that Azure provides, and to show this because it really is, kind of speaks to the overall value that Microsoft places on your particular data in this case, right? So you can do, by standard processing, right? Any data stored in like Azure SQL, it's going to have redundant storage that's going to be replicated 3 times in a single data center. And Microsoft loves to kind of rate these by the percentage of durability or reliability of that data within 1 year. And so they call the first one here is 11 nines, so it's 99.79 or after it, right? Reliability within 1 year that data is going to be protected from any sort of disaster or data loss. And so that's your local redundant storage. Then you go to zone redundant storage, which replicates across 3 availability zones and provides 12 nines of durability. And then the final one is geo-redundant storage, where there's multiple locations being used to store your data. And the 2 locations are at least 100 miles apart. So even if one data center gets completely destroyed, you still have another copy of your data in a separate region from that. And so just wanted to point out the available options for the data storage, and to show that Microsoft is still how much they value and protect, offer or have offerings that value and protect your particular data. So that's from a more technical side, right? Now they also have other options from a software perspective to help protect not only your data, but your people and infrastructure as well. So they have things like Microsoft Defender, Microsoft Sentinel, Microsoft Entra, Microsoft Purview, right? And we'll go into each of those offerings a little bit more here in the upcoming slides. But all of these are going to give you what Microsoft likes to call their security portfolio, which is going to allow you to integrate, a bunch of different offerings into your security environment itself within to protect not only, again, your data, but your people and infrastructure, and provide things like identity management, compliance, and privacy, things like that. So if we jump into what these look like, I pulled out a couple examples of this, right? Microsoft Entra is probably the new name that you see here. Really, this is the reason you probably heard of this more recently is because it took the place of Azure AD. So Azure AD is now called Entra ID. And this is really where you can manage user IDs from that perspective. So, but it goes above and beyond just what Azure AD offers. It also has permissions management and your verified ID as well. Then you have your Entra ID governance, which is to protect, monitor, and audit your access to assets, right? So again, that permission management piece of this. And then really the permission management module itself is that unified model to manage permissions across your resources in the cloud. When we talk about resources here, we're talking other applications. So being able to manage all of your permissions across not having to go to each application itself and set up permissions for a user, but having access packages that you can assign to a user that would grant access across those different applications. Then you have things like Microsoft Sentinel, which are being used to look at analyze threats that are coming from to Azure itself or to on-premise resources, depending on how you have this set up, and really giving you the ability to leverage the Azure AI to help predict threats and to look for those anomalies in a much quicker fashion. So you can see, hey, this user is signing in from a brand new location they've never signed in from before, right? We probably want to look at that. Or, we're having a high number of invalid logins from this area, right? We can, block those, things like that. And so again, this is where you can start to leverage not just the detection of this, but really looking at the machine learning across all of the Microsoft Azure customers to help look for what are the global trends that we're seeing from a risk perspective, coming across. And then finally, we have that Microsoft Purview. This is where you're talking about governing data, looking at data loss prevention, insider risk management, basically looking to safeguard that data wherever it resides, and then improve your risk and compliance posture. And really what that means, that's Microsoft likes to talk about that, but it's just how do we better manage the data itself and who has access to that. And that's really kind of what that this allows you to do, is provide context to your data, provide dynamic controls, and automate mitigations across things like your compliance manager, data loss prevention, information protection, and insider risk management. So you can kind of use those tools in conjunction from there. And then looking at the Azure shared responsibility model, we kind of referred to this earlier, but really this is what Microsoft likes to talk about when they're looking at moving from on-prem to cloud, or what your responsibilities are in a cloud environment. And so you can kind of see, as we move from right to left, the darker shaded boxes here are what are the client or customer responsibility. The lighter blue shade here is what Microsoft is responsible for. And then there's a few that are shaded with both. So you can see with on-premise, right, a customer is responsible for the entire thing, from data center to network to host, operating system, network controls, applications, right, all the way up to your identity and your data. As we start moving to the left to infrastructure as a service or platform as a service, right, and finally software as a service, you can see that Microsoft start to the Microsoft responsibility portion of this starts moving up the ladder here, the chain. And so when you get to a SaaS-based solution, which is what Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations is, right, you can see that Microsoft is in charge of everything up to the application itself. And really where the customer comes in then is with your identity and directory infrastructure, basically creating the users within your environment and then assigning that correct access to those individual systems, right? And so you can see that you're offloading a lot of the behind the scenes information or behind the scenes tasks and setup that you'd have to do from you having to do this right to Microsoft. So something to keep in mind as you're going through this, that you're able to, instead of spending time and effort on those tasks, right, they're better used in other areas. All right, and then there's security advantages here as well. You can see, again, this is from Microsoft, but the traditional approach is on the left, right, where you can see that there are certain areas where each of these boxes are a certain responsibility that a customer has from a security perspective. You can see on the left here that there, are areas that the customer does really, really well, the darker blue, and there are things that the customer doesn't do really well, which is those lighter blue. And so if we shift over to that cloud-based approach, right, you can see that Microsoft helps fill those gaps, right? So instead of having to have the client be in charge of or responsible for everything, right, you're shifting that responsibility a little bit and letting Microsoft help you meet those requirements. So all that being said, the benefits of hosting Dynamics 365 on Azure, the reason we went through all of that was to really show that because F&O is hosted on Azure, it automatically gets all the features and functionality and benefits that Azure provides. And so that's really the reason we went through all that background, is to show the benefits that Azure has, and therefore, because finance and operations is hosted on Azure, that F&O is already getting already, just from being hosted there. So that's really the big takeaway from this section. All right, so if we jump to development and testing, right? So what features and functionality does finance and operations have to help streamline your development and testing procedures to start to look at being able to maximize your business efficiency in that area? And so really when we start looking at development and testing, Microsoft is going to provide your pre-configured development and build environments. So these environments can be deployed to Azure or LCS, to Azure via LCS or Lifecycle Services, or they can actually be deployed locally. So you can actually download a VHD to be able to deploy those. And then Microsoft has a robust application lifecycle management story around F&O. And they have Microsoft Learn documents. They have entire videos about this that I've linked in here as well in the PowerPoint here. But so it doesn't matter if you're using the waterfall methodology, which is on the left, or the agile methodology, which is on the right, down here at the bottom, for your development cycle, right? Microsoft has both those stories covered. You can use whatever development methodology you would like, and the solutions from Microsoft can help you in that journey. So with that, that journey would probably consist of things like your continuous integration and continuous deployment, right? Your CI/CD process. And really this is where you can start to utilize the Microsoft technology to help automate a lot of these tasks. And so this is where you can start using build pipelines, right, to deploy your code across different environments in a much quicker fashion. And you're not having to go to each environment individually to deploy your code, right? So you can have the automation process of Microsoft help with that. So one thing to note here is that your Team Foundation server and Git are supported. And then you can utilize your Azure DevOps pipelines to help manage your code branches and monitor the deployment pipelines from there. And Microsoft provides you with pre-configured build definitions as well, right? So if you're using these, you can go in and actually get the build definitions from Microsoft, which are the package that Microsoft provides that would actually deploy your code to other environments as well. So they give you the out-of-the-box process, and then you can take and modify that as needed. All right, so automated testing. Like we kind of mentioned earlier, Microsoft releases 7 versions a year. So I have an entire year timeline here. Any month that you see highlighted in that bluish color here is a month that Microsoft has a release that comes out. And so you can see that there are 7 releases a year. There are some breaks, normally around the end of fiscal years, as what Microsoft quarter ends is where Microsoft has those pauses. But you can see that there are 7 updates a year, and Microsoft wants you to be on the newest version of these at any point in time. You can be as many as 2 back. So you want to take N as the current version -2, but you're going to have to take those upgrades at some point, right? And so you really have to have a way to efficiently test your environment, because otherwise, if we're trying to do manual testing, for every new version and trying to run through all of your business processes to test this, right? There would be no way to do that. And so Microsoft has the regression suite automation tool to help with that, where you can set up your test cases and have, again, that automated process to actually execute those test cases against a new version to be able to see if anything has changed and needs to be modified or tweaked to get that to work. All right, so then looking at cloud integrations as well, right? So we looked at development and testing. Now we're looking at, well, how can I connect, right, to my F&O instance? How can I be able to bring in additional data from other systems that maybe aren't even Microsoft, right, related? How can I start this process? And so there are a number of integration options that exist, whether you're talking about e-commerce platforms, CRM systems, other ERPs, human capital management, supply chain management systems, right? You have all of these different options that either have native connections or can be set up fairly easily, either using, the out-of-the-box OData connections, OData endpoints, or custom APIs, right? Or, any number of different integration options that exist. These systems can use that to help get that data into your environment, whether you're talking about managing orders and inventory, looking at customers from a CRM perspective, other ERPs. So if you have that hub and spoke model where you have, your main office is using SAP or Oracle, but your branches are using F&O, you can absolutely do that. Human capital management systems, things like Workday or EDP, right? Being able to bring in your payroll and benefits from there, or your supply chain management systems, your Oracle warehouse management, right? Being able to feed that data into F&O to have a single source of truth across those, right? You absolutely can do any one of those as part of your integration story. And then integrating with the Power Platform, right? So not only can we integrate with other systems, right, but we can absolutely integrate with Microsoft itself. So whether you're going to, and these connections are pre-built, a majority of these, right? There isn't anything special you have to do. These just come with, are very easy to set up. So whether you need to create a mobile app, right, using Power Apps that allows for sales associates to check inventory levels with Power Automate, automating that process, automating the process of creating and sending invoices based on particular trigger events, creating dashboards in Power BI to show financial performance, or using the Power Platform AI, right, to build chatbots and things like that. So we kind of talked about the integrations, right, from F&O to other systems. What about data analytics, right? Machine learning and AI. This is really where a lot of if you've listened to any Microsoft tech conferences before, right? Copilot and AI is really the brand new thing from this. But there are other ways that you can do data analytics and things like that as well. The first being telemetry data. So in 10.0.30, Microsoft announced the surfacing of the telemetry data to end users. And telemetry data, when we're talking about this, is looking at the actual actions that users are performing in the system and being able to see when they're accessing certain pages, when they hit certain error events, right? What additional information is around those, where they're connecting from, what environment they're connecting to, how long do they spend on the page, things like that. And so all of this data can be exported to App Insights within Azure, and then exported natively to Power BI to view that information. And so that's a great segue into the next data analytics option, which is looking at, how can we actually start to analyze this data and gain actionable insights or business insights into our data. And so one thing to note here is that the ERP data can be exported to things like Data Lake, Dataverse, or Data Warehouse, and then using analytics tools to be able to analyze that data, whether you're using Power BI or even Microsoft Excel to bring some of those in. One key feature here is that you can actually embed Power BI reports directly within FNO, right? So you don't have to go to a separate application or a separate website to view these. You can embed those reports right in for easy analysis. And really all of this is trying to simplify your reporting and gain actionable insights from there. You can also use things like machine learning. This is kind of the step right before AI as we get through this, but machine learning is really helping build models that you can look to data models to help look for trends, look for ways to classify data, look for anomalies, right? And being able to really start that particular process. So there's Azure machine learning, if you want to go down that project or path as well, to really start to fine grain your data analysis and looking for ways to pull those insights across large amounts of data coming in. But really, when we start looking at this, right, the big feature in this case is Microsoft Copilot, right? So this was actually released last year with the Microsoft 365 Copilot. And for Dynamics, it was coming in earlier this year, Dynamics 365 in March of this year. And so the idea is that this will eventually be embedded across all Microsoft products, and you will have Copilot will just be something that everything else is built on top of, right? So you would be able to pull data from whether that data originates in Teams or Word or Outlook, and you want to feed it into FNO or feed it into your ERP or CRM system, right? You can absolutely do that. That's the eventual idea right now. There are certain integrations, but there's still a lot to work out. So really, when we start looking at Copilot itself, for those that may not know, it's an artificial intelligence built on top of large language models. Really, all this means is that it's being fed a lot of data, that business data, that says, here's what a normal business process kind of looks like, and here are the things that are going to be asked about, and then being able to predict what answer you want from that, right? And so when you can ask it questions in natural language, and so you can write in English or whatever language you speak to this Copilot AI, and be able to get actionable insights from that, right? And so this can also be trained with your organization data. And so you can actually not only gain the AI benefits holistically, but you can gain it just for your specific business data as well. And so there are a couple different scenarios that I list out here at the bottom, whether you're using Dynamics 365 for sales to generate customized customer responses, based on pricing, promotion, and deadlines. Looking at Dynamics 365 marketing to target audience campaigns, right? To say, I want to send this campaign to this group of people, right? That match this description. Or looking for AI generated emails, right? Creating automated call summaries after you have a Teams meeting, right? And being able to pull out key topics, issues, and concerns, and then provide action updates and insights and follow-up dates from that. So with that being said, I did want to show a quick video here of just what you could potentially do with AI, and this is from a supply chain side. And so looking at how you could use Copilot to help with your supply chain.
Dahlia is a supply chain planner at Kraft Heinz Company. One of their biggest challenges is keeping up with demand in the face of unexpected supply chain disruptions. Copilot in Microsoft Supply Chain Center, which is available to Dynamics 365 supply chain management customers, helps them stay close to their suppliers to ensure they are never out of stock. They can respond quickly in critical situations by identifying costly problems early and swiftly collaborating with partners to maintain healthy inventory levels. Dahlia first uses the AI-driven news module to keep a finger on the pulse of events that impact critical logistics, such as weather, workforce, or geopolitical disruptions. Today, she's presented with an article about a flood in Michigan. She sees this article has been tagged as an immediate risk, and her suppliers, Northwind Traders, Van Arsdale, and Best For You Organics Company, are affected. Dahlia selects Northwind Traders and clicks Contact Partner. She wants to confirm the impact on order dates and quantity, given the flooding in Michigan. She reviews an AI-generated email powered by Microsoft Dynamics 365 Copilot that already contains all the relevant information referencing the flooding and specific orders in question. She opens the draft directly in her email, sees that the right contact, Mauricio, has automatically been filled in, and sends it off. With Copilot, Dahlia is able to quickly handle this task in just a few clicks, facilitating a much faster mitigation process. Mauricio from Northwind Traders responds, the order will be delivered from an alternative Northwind Traders location with a new ETA. With Copilot in Microsoft Supply Chain Center, Dahlia was able to act swiftly, detecting problems that could have major impact to her business and taking immediate action to mitigate the disruptions without ever leaving her workflow.
So that's just a quick insight into what is the potential for AI. Obviously, this is just the high level surface, but it's something where you can kind of see the vision of what Microsoft is really looking to provide. So a quick recap here of what we learned during this particular session. With Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations, you can unlock a number of key integration options to help centralize your business, right? Pulling in that data from other systems into Finance and Operations and really being able to take the benefits of centralizing that data to look at different key takeaway and centralize your operations there. Since Microsoft is hosting finance and operations within Azure, you can offload a lot of the physical management and upkeep of that hardware and software for your solution. Your development and testing tasks can be automated to shorten the deliverable time. And then data analytics, machine learning, and artificial intelligence can be configured easily to help automate tasks and customize interactions, all backed by your data and the insights from that. So with that, we'll go ahead and I'll leave up my contact information here, and we can go ahead and start looking at questions. So I'll open up the chat box here. All right, so hopefully, let's see. I'll go ahead and let the GSDC team answer Raji's question about the certification exam. But let's see if there are any other questions from that. Feel free to use the chat function if there are any. I'll look to see, I don't know if there's a separate Q&A section.
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much, Alex, for
Yep.
that detailed and very insightful presentation. I'm sure the presentation was very fruitful to each and every one of you. So requesting all of you to feel free to use the chat box below to drop down your questions. In the meanwhile, let me check if we have a few more questions coming up from our online viewer as well.
Ooh, okay, yeah, that's a good question. So somebody just asked, how can finance and operations principles be applied to emerging technologies like edge computing and serverless architectures? That's a very in-depth question actually, because there are offerings from finance and operations to help with edge computing, to offer that offline experience if that's required, for particular geolocations. But then service architectures as well. If we're talking about how Microsoft is actually like hosting this behind the scenes, a lot of that is not public information. So I'm sure they're using serverless architectures behind the scenes in some capacity to host this, the finance and operations itself. It's obviously hosted within IIS and some of that. So so I would say that they're definitely being utilized. It's just a question of how in that regard. And some of that can really only be answered by Microsoft in that case. Can you connect the dots or summarize on how everything which was covered today help an organization practice FinOps? Example of an org having presence in multiple clouds, not just Azure or Microsoft products. Right. So if you do have other cloud products, right, or multiple clouds in that regard, right? If you're using AWS or Google Cloud or even Oracle, right, what have you, to run your business, right? Really, the biggest piece that you could probably take away there is the connectability and the integrations that Microsoft offers to those other clouds as well. We took a little bit of a Microsoft focus in this case to showcase the entire landscape that Microsoft offers within finance and operations, right? Because the majority of the time when you're purchasing F&O, you're not just purchasing finance and operations, right? You also have Entra ID, or what was Azure ID, right? Or you have Azure Portal or other solutions that you're utilizing. And so really looking at how can you bring that together. But that doesn't mean that that's the only deployable infrastructure or the only methodology that you can use to actually utilize that. So you can absolutely use multiple clouds. The biggest piece is, the integration options that exist from finance and operations.
Thank you so much, Alex, for that detailed answer. We still have a couple more minutes for the Q&A session. So requesting each and every one of you to use the chat box below.
And I just want to put it out there. Anyone is free to reach out to me if you have questions after the event. Happy to answer those as well. So don't feel like you have to, if you think of something later that you would like to ask, feel free. But if there's nothing else, I did want to say thank you again for joining today. And hopefully this talk was beneficial, and I hope you have a great rest of the GSDC conference. Could you share, I'm sorry, there's just one more that came in here. Can you share a few more use cases? Haresh, can you provide a little more context, use cases around what specifically?
In the meanwhile, Alex, we do have a couple of questions from our live viewer. I would love to read it out for you. Could you share an example of a non-tech industry effectively implementing FinOps principles to improve their cost management?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are, a number of different industries across the board that are utilizing FinOps. So they'd ask for specifically for cost management. Is that what you're saying? I'm sorry, I didn't catch the very end of that question.
Okay, I'll read it out again. Could you share an example of a non-tech industry effectively implementing a FinOps principle to improve their cost management?
Yeah, so I mean, I think healthcare would be a great example, right, to help bring down costs of creating healthcare goods. A bunch of manufacturing and agricultural companies also using FinOps as well to help drive down and centralize a lot of their, from a manufacturing perspective, right, to centralize warehousing to be able to have all that data in one place, and being able to gain actual insights there. From agriculture, again, the same kind of idea, right? Where the food being stored, how is it, being moved between locations, things like that, right? Can all be tracked. So instead of having multiple systems doing that, right, you can have FinOps do that itself. All right. So I know that there are other questions coming in. And I apologize, I do have to drop in this case, but you can feel free, Lecky, if you want to reach out and for the questions, if you want to message me, and I can absolutely answer those, or anybody wants to reach out after the event here, feel free to message me, and I'm happy to take these questions offline at that point in time.
Of course, Alex, we will have a LinkedIn group wherein we will request each and every participants to join in. And if there are any questions which are unanswered, I'll definitely reach out to you. Thank you so much, Alex, once again for joining the session. Any last words from your end before we jump into the gamification round?
No, I just want to thank everybody again for joining. Thanks to GSDC for the event, and thank you for the great questions here at the end. Again, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to answer those.
Thank you so much, Alex. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Now, without delaying it any further, we will directly jump into the gamification round. So for the gamification round, I would like to introduce Setulu to host the session. Setulu, over to you whenever you are ready.
Yeah, thank you, Lecky. Can you please confirm if my audio is good for you?
Yes, it's audible.
All right, great. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here on our session. And we will quickly begin with the gamification. Those of you who had been here, you already know how we play this game. So just stick with us to win the winning prize. And those who are here for the first time, if you are unaware about gamification, which I highly doubt, it is a very trendy micro-learning concept right now, and we are so glad to be introducing this on our events. And I would like to mention that this was designed by our partner, Novel Vista. So thank you so much to Novel Vista for this platform, for providing this amazing platform. Can you please go to the next slide? I will quickly share the link that you can go ahead and play this game. So while I am introducing this, please do click on the link and you can log into the game. So there, the link is shared on the chat box. Click on there. You will see this page, which is shown on the screen right now. You do not have to log in. You can directly go to sign up. And once you sign up, you will see the next page, that is the next screen, the sign up page. So here you can go ahead and enter the first name, your last name, your email ID. Please make sure that you put up your proper email ID, because that would be the one where we reach out to you if you win. And also the session ID, which is 1361. So for today, the session ID is 1361. Please feel free to click on the link that is shared on the chat box. Just copy paste it on your browser and log in there. If you are facing any problems, do let me know, and we will guide you through. I am checking on my dashboard here for any participants. Once you enter the dashboard, you will see the game stack of coins. Can you go to the next slide? Yes, the stack of coins, which we will be playing today, that is a game where you will be winning Yes, you will have to sign up, Banu Prakash. You will have to sign up. You don't have to log in. You have to sign up, put in your first name, last name, your email ID, and the session ID, which is 1361. So once you are there, you will find this page which says deck of coins, and you can enter the game. I can already see some people entering the game here. So I'll quickly share my screen so that you can see all the joiners who are joining in right now. If you see the prompt to change password, you can just skip that. Just click on the cross mark. You can skip that and continue with the game here. Yeah, you can skip the password change and just go ahead and click on the stack of coins. All right, so how we will play this game is you will get options for, you will get multiple choice questions. And through these choice questions, you will get to answer, you will get three chances to answer the question. This will be related to our session, that FinOps session, which we are having it right now. And once you attempt the questions, you will be able to get your points. So how you get your points? How you get your points is if you answer in the first attempt correctly, you will get 100 points. If you answer it correctly second time, you will get 50 points, and the third time will grant you 25 points. And fourth chance is not there, so do make your choices wisely. We will be selecting the winners according to the maximum points, whoever gets the maximum points, and also the fastest time. Make sure that you do not refresh your browser. That will refresh all the answers that you have made until that time. All right. Please do join, everyone. I do see quite a few people have joined. We'll give it another 2 minutes until everyone has registered. If you are having any issue joining the link, any problem with the link, do let us know. Please make sure to add the session ID 1361. That is 1361. We would also love to hear your feedback on the sessions after the gamification is over. Do feel free to drop onto our Trustpilot. We'll share the link shortly to share your feedbacks. All right, we have quite few players now. Another minute and we'll start the game. So for this quiz, we will be giving a total of 3 minutes for all the players, and within these 3 minutes, you have to answer all the questions. Also, I would like to remind everyone again that we will be selecting 3 winners of this game. The 3 winners will be selected according to the maximum points received and the fastest time. All right, so we are about to start. I will just do the countdown. If you haven't signed up yet, please do it quickly. Our players are waiting here. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we'll start the quiz. Everyone, please, good luck to you all. Please start with your quiz. Make sure that you answer all your questions correctly. You will get the points accordingly to how you are answering according to the stack of coins that there are on the screen. If you would like to check the leaderboard, then you can check it on our shared screen. All right, we have a lot of people playing here, a lot of 100 points. We have 200 points as well. Do remember that there is a $400 worth voucher, FinOps voucher in hand for the winners, the top 3 winners. I would request the top 3 winners, whoever that may be, to quickly turn on your videos and your audio to share a few words after the game. We have a very competitive round here. Chola and Ritesh is going ahead. Yes, Ritesh and Chola is going head on with each other. And another one, topping up Jagdish Babu. Yes, Jagdish Babu is on right in the corner here. You still have around 1.5 minutes left. I will do the countdown and let you know once we have a minute left for the quiz. You can, for now, you can take your time and answer your questions. I see that Ritesh is doing really good on the leaderboard right now. Please make sure that you do not refresh your browser. That will refresh your answers. All right, we have a minute left to this quiz. And right now, Ritesh is on the leaderboard. Is there anyone who would be topping Ritesh? There are still some few people who are waiting.
Thank you so much, everyone, for that gamification round. We are having a little bit of a technical issue. Just stay with us. We'll be back within a couple of minutes. Thank you so much.
Yes, so sorry about the technical glitch here. So the quiz has just ended. I hope everyone is able to see their leaderboard. And yes, we see the board here. Arunava with 900 points, Gautam with 850, and Sahil with 825. Congratulations to all of you. And to the rest of you, thank you so much for playing. And congratulations to you guys as well because you have scored so great. And you can see your scores on the leaderboard here itself. For the three winners, I would request each one of you, any one of you, to turn on your camera and or your audio. You can, yes, Gautam is here. I would like to ask you to unmute, share your experience. How did you feel about this gamification?
Gamification has been great. I was in a hurry to finish things.
That's great, but you did really great. Your points are almost perfect as well. Congratulations again. We will reach out to you on your email soon with your prize. So thank you so much for playing. And yes,
Thank you, sir.
all right, great. All right, Lucky, I believe that's the end of the gamification. We will be playing again tomorrow, so please do join at the same time with the same link. So you can, for those who haven't won, you can try your luck again tomorrow. For those who won today, I'm sorry to say, but you cannot participate tomorrow. But anyway, we will be going ahead with more prizes again. So yeah, Lucky, you can take your time to close now. Thank you so much, everyone, for participating.
Thank you so much, Setalu, for that very fun and exciting gamification round. And once again, thank you A very big congratulations to all the winners, and thank you so much everyone for participating in the session. Feel free to join the session for tomorrow as well. In case if you were not able to win the voucher today, you still have the opportunity to win in tomorrow's session. So use the same link to join in for tomorrow's session as well. Before we end the session for today, I'd like to make a quick announcement that we will be hosting a virtual podcast on TED Talks in our upcoming month, that is on October 1st week. So I would request each and every one of you to stay connected with us through all of our social media platforms. We will be updating the dates and everything on our social media platforms. Do not forget to follow us on our LinkedIn page. Your LinkedIn page. You could also visit our website if you want to learn more details on all the certification. And yeah, please do not forget to join our exclusive community LinkedIn group. The links are already given on the screen. Feel free to visit our website for any details. As Setu has already mentioned, we would love to hear your key takeaway from today's session. So feel free to leave your takeaway. What did you learn from today's session on our Trustpilot? And yeah, we will hopefully see you everyone for tomorrow's session. Thank you everyone for joining in.